I'm grateful to you, your team.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is embracing the support of international allies today.
We show the world that we stand with Ukraine now and in the future.
We will discuss achieving a just end to the war. We must end this war justly and for peace to return as soon as possible. We need a second peace summit this year.
In the last 2 days, the military alliance has provided Ukraine substantial new aid and a path to joining NATO.
We must work ever more closely together to preserve peace and protect the rules-based international order.
On the last day of the summit meeting in Washington, D.C., NATO leaders held a working session focused on the security threat posed by Russia's war on Ukraine. Zelensky claimed today that in order to win the war with Russia, the United States must lift limits on using its weapons to strike military targets in Russia.
If we want to save our country and to defend it, we need to lift all the limitations.
Yesterday, Zelensky met with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as he told his Ukrainian counterpart that Canada plans to reinforce Ukraine's defense with $500 million more in military support and that Canada will train additional Ukrainian fighter pilots.
We're going to continue to be there step by step, not just supporting you directly, but making sure everyone across the NATO alliance remains as steadfast as we are in support for you and for Ukraine.
Thanks so much, Justin.
Today, Prime Minister Trudeau held a sideline meeting with newly elected British PM Keir Starmer, sharing priorities and a long history of friendship between the countries.
And obviously, the UK and Canada have a deep friendship and connection that spans centuries, but there's always more to do.
When it comes to defense spending, yes, there's a lot more that Canada needs to do, especially after being called out by the U.S. Speaker of the House.
Talk about riding on America's coattails. They have the safety and security of being on our border and not having to worry about that. I think that's shameful.
After days of pressure from NATO allies, Trudeau said today that Canada expects to hit the NATO defense spending target of 2% of GDP in 2032. But he did not provide a plan or details of how it will happen. The push to meet spending targets comes at this critical moment as the 32-member alliance grapples with a more aggressive Russia and what might happen when Ukraine joins NATO.
Every step truly brings us closer to membership. We are doing and will continue to do everything to ensure that the day comes when Ukraine is invited and becomes a NATO member.
NATO members ending the summit by issuing a declaration ensuring just that.